What's up everyone, this is Tom from Chaseki. We're broadcasting live from our tea house here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and you're watching episode number 6 of our ongoing video series, All You Need to Know About Matcha. Today's topic is about different types of matcha. The one that we are having a focus on today is the Usucha, which is a thin matcha, and the Koicha, which is the thick matcha. The Usucha is kind of like the coffee at the matcha, the green tea matchas. You can drink it throughout the day. It's very easy to make. It's very light, and you can make a lot of different types of drinks with it as well. For example, a matcha latte or some other mixed drinks. And the koicha is the one that they used to drink at the Japanese tea ceremony. So the preparation is different. You use a higher amount of matcha, a lower amount of water, and the matcha itself is very thick, very intense, and it's kind of like the espresso if you want to compare it with coffee. So the usucha is the thin version, comparable to a coffee, and the koicha is more like the intense, strong version, comparable to the espresso. Later in this video I will also show you how to make each and every of those two beverages and what to be aware of. So I would say let's dive right into it, and my lovely staff M, she will assist me. I'm going to film and she's going to prepare it, so let's go. Okay, so we're starting with the usucha, which is the thin matcha. It's a very classic version, and my lovely staff M is preparing the usucha for us. And the usucha we are going to prepare with our izumi, which is a premium ceremonial grade matcha. And we're taking the sieve to make sure that we don't have any clumps in the matcha. And for the matcha we take 4 grams. If you don't have a scale, you can use the chashaku, which is the matcha spoon, and 2 heaping, okay, this is pretty much 2 grams, so 2 spoons of the chashaku is pretty much about 2 grams. So if you don't have the scale at home, this is what you should use. We already prepared 60 milliliters of warm water. The temperature of the water is 70 degrees, and now we're sieving it. We're doing this process just to make sure that we have a very even fine matcha powder and no clumps in the bowl. You don't necessarily have to do it. There are other ways which we will show you in the next step with the koicha. Alright, now we're going to add the 60 milliliters of water. Temperature is 70 degrees. You can go up to 80 degrees, but personally I prefer a temperature of 70 degrees because it brings more the natural sweetness and the nutty flavors of the matcha out. Higher temperatures tend to be extracting more bitter notes. Now you want to move slowly so that all the matcha dissolves, and then you start to make fast M and W shaped movements. So you have a very nice foam on top, and then you end in the middle and you pull the chasen out. That's perfect. And as you can see, you have a very nice foam on top. Beautiful. Very, very fine and small bubbles. That's exactly what you want. The finer the bubbles, the better the usucha. All right. Now we're going to prepare the koicha. The koicha is the thick version of the matcha, which is popular at the Japanese tea ceremony. And here we're going to use our master grade matcha, which is the Shogyoku from Shogyoken. It's a very, very high quality matcha, and it was award winning. Look at that color. Just awesome. And for the koicha, we're taking 4 heaping spoons of the chashaku, which equals about 4 grams. So if you have a scale at home, you can use the scale. Make sure that you take about 4 grams. That's the perfect amount for the koicha. And the difference now is, of course, we're going to sieve it again. So to make sure that we have a very fine matcha powder in our matcha bowl. And the difference between the Usucha and the Koicha is, first of all, we use a higher amount of matcha. And second, we use a lower amount of water. So the water and matcha ratio is different. The Usucha, we use 2 grams and 60 milliliters of water. For the Koicha, we're using 4 grams of matcha and only 30 milliliters of water. So we get that very thick consistency, is almost paint-like. The same water temperature, 70 degrees. That's what I'm recommending. My opinion, the perfect temperature. And now another difference. We're just trying to dissolve the matcha in the water. We don't want to have any fast movements. It's not like the koicha, like the usucha, that you want to have a foam on top. For the koicha, you want to avoid that. So you just want to have a very smooth consistency. As you can see on M, she's taking small movements. And then you give the matcha bowl a little turn, so you have a very even liquor. And this is the koicha, and it's ready to go. All right. Okay, so and as you can see, now I already had my koicha, and another difference between the usucha and the koicha is that you actually have a 2-in-1. So after you drink your first round, which is the very thick matcha, you add more water. As you can see, there is still a lot of matcha in the bowl, so you add another 40 to 60 milliliters of the hot water. Same water temperature, 70 degrees. And then you add the water to the bowl and you whisk it up again. And then you will have usucha. So the beauty about the koicha is you have a 2-in-1. You have the thick version, which is very intense, very strong umami flavor. And make sure that you only have a high quality matcha, because if you have low quality matcha, it will be very bitter, and it will be difficult to drink. So it's not a real pleasure if you have a low quality matcha. So there you go. And as you can see, beautiful foam again on top. And yeah, so, and as I already mentioned, we are using the matcha whisk, which is the chasen. If you don't have one of those, you can also use a milk frother. I'm going to show you one of these. Looks like that. It's very easy to find in any supermarket. And if you don't have the chashaku, the bamboo scoop, you can also use a teaspoon. A teaspoon is about 2 grams of matcha. So for the usucha, you take 1 teaspoon, and for the koicha, you take 2 teaspoons. All right, that will be all. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Thank you very much, M, for helping me out, and I'll see you in our next video. Thank you, and bye-bye.